Hey guys, welcome back to more Pokemon Perfect ADV content. This is the best of 3 series in the top 16 of our ADV tour between Sstj and Shortage, who's on the alt Roy Skywalker. Again, Pokemon Perfect is the place to play old gens. We have tournaments for 1 through 5 going on all the time, including right now, and we are always trying to grow our community. So absolutely check out the link in the description to the Pokemon Perfect website, to the Pokemon Perfect Discord. Get involved. We would love to have you in these tours. They are open to everybody. In the meantime, let's get back to business. Shortage, that's Roy Skywalker, took down game 1. I thought it was well played by both guys. They both definitely know what they're doing, but only one guy can win. That was Shortage, and if he wins again, he's going to eliminate Sstj from the tour. Should Sstj win, we will be forced into a game 3, which of course will be coming up next. But here is game 2. We'll switch sides for continuity. Shortage will be on the bottom, Sstj on the top. Celebi lead and Skarmory lead, respectively. Very different than the previous game. Immediate baton pass to Magneton, however, and Sstj smart enough to check for that. Almost always, almost universally, when Celebi leads, it's going to have baton pass. That's the whole point. It baton passes to a trapper, maybe even both trappers. Maybe there's a Salamence in the back, but the whole point of leading with that poke is that you can get some cheesy baton pass openings. So good for Sstj to check for that and not get immediately caught with his Skarmory into the Magneton. And Sstj has opted for a very, very similar team to what he brought last game. He had a Venusaur Moltres TSS, and he has once again opted for Moltres TSS. He may not have a Venusaur this time, but the core is very, very similar. Remarkably similar team for Sstj. Perhaps this is his favorite or most comfortable archetype. That's fine. Moltres TSS is a very strong and viable archetype. Shortage, on the other hand, has gone a completely different way. He seems to have a physical offense or a balanced team with a Celebi passing to a Mag, and then heavy hitters, Metagross, Snorlax, probably a Salamence, and then the last poke is going to be probably a T-Tar and a Water, one would think. This is a classic archetype, and these are two completely different styles. So unlike last game where they were both playing TSS, we may have some different stuff going on here, because these guys both have a different path to victory. And the Celebi here has a substitute up against the Moltres. He can baton pass that, remember, but it's going to get popped by the Moltres, who has Flamethrower as opposed to Fire Blast. That's relevant to note. And there's Recover to get the Celebi back up to a hundo, but it's obviously not going to stay in against the Moltres. Moltres cannot one-hit KO it with Flamethrower, but it would still do a heck of a lot. And Moltres is a very threatening Pokemon against this kind of team, because there's not really a good thing to switch into Will-O-Wisp. Like, for example, switching in Snorlax to Will-O-Wisp, which is what he just did, is really not what you want to be doing. That's not a poke that appreciates burn. And Celebi is a status absorber for a lot of things. It could take T-Waves all day. It could take Toxics all day, because who cares? You just switch out. But the problem with it against Moltres is, yeah, I mean, it doesn't care about the Will-O-Wisp, but the Moltres can just fry it with Fire Blast or Flamethrower or whatever, so Celebi cannot reliably switch into Moltres. It can easily get killed should Sstj predict that and simply attack it instead of status it. So Moltres seems like a really threatening Pokemon in this matchup, and Sstj, in my opinion, has an early lead. Now, granted, he does have a Skarmory against a Magneton, which, as we know, always favors Magneton unless it's the stupid, gimmicky HP Ground Skarm that some people like. It could be that for Sstj, but I don't know. I kind of doubt it. He wouldn't have gone turn 1 Whirlwind if that's the case. Why even check for the Magneton if you are specifically wanting the Magneton to come in so you can trap it? So I think that Shortage has the advantage in that way, because he does have the hard counter to the Skarm should we go that way. Oh, this could be a big turn. So Dugtrio gets passed into from the Celebi, so it is Celebi passing a double trapper, which is one of my favorite archetypes. A lot of people don't like it, but I'm a big fan of this archetype. I find it super constricting. I find that you get a lot of free picks with smart baton passes and double switches, and that's exactly what happened there. The T-Tar got picked off basically for free by passing to the Dugtrio there, And that's just a huge, huge advantage for Shortage, just killing a T-Tower with almost no repercussions. So now the game feels a little bit more even. The Lax is not in good shape here. Sstj comes into play around a potential boom. Instead, it is just rest, but I mean, this does at least enable him to get a layer of spikes down, but he's got to be careful of the mag, which is the obvious thing to be incoming here. And Sstj plays around the mag coming, but wow, Shortage just stays in and says, nope. And he is correct. Moltres comes in trying to take advantage of the Magneton. Instead, Shortage stays in, ignores it, and just kills a sleep turn. And he's now going to kill a second sleep turn. He does get hit with a critical, which is a little bit unlucky. But Lax is still completely safe here. Can just rest again if he pleases. Now Scar makes a reappearance. And Lax does in fact go for rest again. But the mind games are going to continue here. Is it actually finally spikes this time, or is the Magneton coming? And again, Sstj back to Moltres. Very, very good double switching for Sstj, understanding what he needs to do to dig himself out of this matchup. And it's last poke Coon, unsurprising. Team needs a bulky water. There you have it. And the team wants a bulky water that really appreciates Skarm not being there. They all do, but Coon in particular really, really appreciates Skarm not being around. So we end up with Vaporeon on Lax here. Both players playing really well, I think. This is very high level ADV, and there's a lot to take away from these games. I really appreciate watching these guys. Once again, the Skarm comes in. Third time the charm. Will he finally spike up, or will he again make that Moltres play? And finally, he bites the bullet and actually spikes up. Magneton comes in. Thunderbolt does a ton, but it does not kill. I don't know if the Skarm got lucky and survived through the magnet, or if it is in fact a lefty's Magneton. But you would think on this team, where the only way to deal with Skarm is the Magneton, and it makes the difference between 1 or 2 layers of spikes, you would think in that instance that it would be holding a magnet. So Sstj may have just gotten a bit lucky with the damage roll. Or alternatively, it could be a timid Magneton, which people are running these days because they're afraid of the stupid YOLO Skarm, which gives the Skarm a much better roll to live the Thunderbolt. But either way, it lived. Spikes are down. Spikes layer number 2 come down. And Curse from Lax is not going to knock him out, but he gets a lucky para there to bail him out. Otherwise, Sstj would have been able to get a third layer of spikes down, which seems very much like something Shortage does not want. His entire team is spikes vulnerable. Every single Pokemon spikes vulnerable for him. Doesn't have a single flying or levitating poke on the whole squad. And here comes Vaporeon. Body Slam, 27%. That does not eat para. Has to be careful now about passing the Wish to the Skarm. Very counterproductive. There is the Wish. And it's going to be a Curse turn here for Shortage. One thing with Sstj is that he does not seem to have a reliable answer to the Curse Lax. Skarmory, I think, was the intended answer, but that's not going to do it against Mag. So we'll see what the backup plan is. Vaporeon has Haze, which is interesting. I don't see that move very often. That's going to eliminate the curses from the Lax. I don't know if this is a long-term solution. It's very annoying in the meantime, but I don't know if this actually solves the problem for 2 reasons. 1, the Vaporeon could not actually kill the Lax ever. And 2, the Lax can and will eventually get paralysis with Body Slam, and a poorly timed full para is going to completely mess this up for Sstj. So I think this is cute tech, and maybe it's a little bit better against something like a Coon than it is against a Lax. And like I said, it's annoying. It's stopping him for now, but I don't know that this is a long-term solution. And Body Slam does now find paralysis. So Vaporeon's at 43%. Lax is at 50%. Vaporeon out of the way at this point. Claydol comes down for Sstj. That's interesting. That's not quite what I expected his last poke to be. But I suppose it makes sense. It's a rock resist, which he really, really needs on this team, and it's a spinner. But it's definitely not an answer to Lax, and he's going to get leveled by a Body Slam at +1 for 64%. The question now becomes, is Claydol going to just boom, and does Shortage play around it? And the answer is no to both. It's simply an Earthquake, it's simply a rest. The Lax is going to live, and Sstj, if he does have boom, is probably kicking himself right now for missing the opportunity to do it. Skarm comes in, it's low and it's paralyzed, but you've got to do what you've got to do, and your team is weak to Curse-Lax, and it certainly seems like SSTJ's team is weak to Curse-Lax, when it's paired with Mag, that is, which is basically always. And there is some poor luck. He is going to Whirlwind the Lax because he has to. 1 in 5 chance that what gets whirled out is the Magneton, and guess what? It's the Magneton. Skarmory goes down. 6-4 situation. Now, there are 2 layers of spikes down, but SSTJ clearly behind at this point. Catches up a little bit here as he flamethrowers the Magneton. I'm not sure why Roy let that go. Maybe he was afraid if he went to Lax, which objectively is safe on paper. Maybe he was afraid that Roar would come down for Moltres. We have not actually seen the last 2 moves. You can assume almost certainly that one of them is going to be hidden power of some kind, probably grass, but the last move on Moltres could be Overheat, could be Roar, could be Protect, could be Sub. Might have been a little too loose to play around Roar there. I think the odds of that weren't overly likely, but I think that is what was happening there. Otherwise, there was no reason not to just go to Lax, I think. Throwing away the Mag, I don't know, it had more than 0 purpose in this. I mean, it threatens the Vaporeon. It can be annoying to the Bliss, depending on the set, or even just as fodder later. I just don't think he needed to throw it away right then, right there. But nitpicks aside, the bigger picture issue here is that SSTJ cannot seem to stop this Curse-Lax. Even at +1, it is so threatening to him and just doing so much damage to everything. Can you imagine if this thing had 3 boosts or 4 boosts? SSTJ can't even handle it with 1. There's the Soft Boil, there's the Body Slam. I mean, a crit or a para is inevitable at some point, right? And there is the para, so I don't know what SSTJ is going to do now. He's going to just die to another Body Slam should he stay in, which is exactly what happens. And I would say he's in some trouble at this point. I don't know how he plans to get out of this. Vaporeon comes in. It did shed its paralysis from the Heal Bell, or aromatherapy rather, from Blissey. But I still don't see what the long-term solution is in this matchup. Body Slam there actually simply just kills Vaporeon, and now he's down to only the Moltres against 5 pokes from Shortage. This one seems much less close than the previous game. Shortage, pending a miracle, is looking like he's going to win this set 2-0. SSTJ is not conceding just yet, but I don't know how he gets out of this. He does get the Wish from the Vaporeon, gets him back up to a hundo, and he did burn the Lax. But basically, he would need to hit him here, have him not rest, and then crit him next turn. And yeah, Shortage not going to let that happen. He simply goes for rest, and I would assume that very soon in our future, we're going to be seeing a concession. SSTJ going to play it out. He would need running crits here to get out of this. There's sleep turn number 1. It is possible to double crit here. Never say never. Flamethrower again. That is not a critical hit. I guess he doesn't even need a double. I guess he just needs 1. A critical hit here would be good enough. Can he kill the Lax with a crit here? It's what he needs. He finds the Flamethrower, but he doesn't find the crit. Body Slam comes down. He needs to avoid para, and does. Okay. So he has a chance to kill the Lax here. Okay. Step 1. Lax goes down. Are we going to go for the dodge the rock slide from Dugtrio? No, we're going to go to Coon. So Coon needs to either be killed by the HP Grass, or once again, a crit is going to have to be found. HP Grass, that comes up well short, so the answer was he was looking for a crit. Crit did not come, and Ice Beam, when combined with the Sand, will be good enough. But keep in mind that the Dugtrio could have come in and simply gone for Rock Slide at any point, and the Moltres 90% of the time would have died. It would have had to avoid a Rock Slide as well. Yeah, he would have needed crits in multiple places. He would have needed to avoid the Rock Slide. Lots of stuff would have had to have happened there. It was theoretically possible for SSTJ to win, and I commend him for playing it out, but the RNG did not go his way in that endgame. He would have needed quite a bit of luck, and it's going to be Shortage taking this game and therefore taking the set 2-0. He is going to be in our top 8, which is looking to be a very, very loaded field. There will absolutely be more coverage of this tournament, but like I said, I'm going to say it one more time. You guys should participate in this stuff. You guys can be in these tours. You guys can be on YouTube. Absolutely get involved with these tournaments. Pokemon Perfect, the place to play all gens. There's going to be a link in the description. In the meantime, if you guys liked these games and if you want to see more of this kind of content, tournament coverage, all that good stuff, let me know in the comments. Leave me a thumbs up. I will see you guys soon with more videos.